Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Vishal Sharma of Principal of Metanoia Inc. and, of course, moderator of the Carrier Ethernet Group. And I'm back once again with part 2 of this series of videos that I'm doing. It's a 3-part series. It's called the TC3 Carrier Case Studies. And it's really inspired by day 2 of the Telecom Council of Silicon Valley event, which was dedicated to a number of carriers presenting case studies together with vendors or entrepreneurs or companies that they had worked with to solve very specific carrier problems. So my goal in this 3-part series is to take 2 or 3 studies that are related to each other in some way at a time, and then present to you the main highlights. And I'm going to present it in the format in the following way. So I'm going to first talk about the carrier quick facts to just kind of give you a background of who the carrier was, so you have an idea about that because they span all across the globe. Then we'll talk about the problem that was being solved, what the startup actually did and what it provided by way of value to the carrier, which is why what motivated the carrier partner with the startup in the first place. And then I'll share some results and deployments. And the idea here is that I would like the ecosystem as a whole, others in the system, architects, network engineers, system engineers, system architects, even executives at both vendors, software companies, and emerging operators to have a feel and get some visibility into the ecosystem problems that the carriers are experiencing right now in this day and age, and how they are partnering with vendors and different kinds of creative companies and entrepreneurs to help solve those problems. And my goal is that this is going to provide some insights into the operational trends in the telecom industry. Now, those of you that don't know, the Carrier Ethernet Group is one where we say we focus on the technology, strategy, and business aspects of modern packet networking, and we cover all kind of modern packet networking. It's about a 10,000 member strong group at this point, from 2,200 companies and 123 countries across the globe. And Metanoia Inc., as some of you know, is a niche Silicon Valley company, and we focus on accelerating next generation system and network design for operators or vendors or companies in the telecom ecosystem. So my discussion in part 2 is actually going to focus on 2 operators. One is Bouygues Telecom out of France, which partnered with a company called iFeelSmart, and the second one is Rogers in Canada, which partnered with Spotify. And now the problem specifically that they are trying to solve is one of improving customer experience. So let's talk about Rogers and Spotify first. And I'm going to liberally consult my notes here because I have so much information I want to share with you. So please don't mind my looking at my notes, so I can give you the most current and recent information. So let's give you let me give you a quick carrier facts on Rogers. They're a $13.2 billion behemoth out of Canada, and their revenues come 56% from wireless, about 30% from their cable customers, and 15% from media. And the interesting part about Rogers is it's actually a cable company that over the last many years has successfully, in a sense, executed a transformation into becoming a full-fledged telco operator with lots of different interests. Now, it has 9.5 million subscribers with 83% smartphone penetration and a 35% market share in Canada. And in its cable service, it passes about 2 billion homes, and it also has sports and content distribution capability that revenue. So in this example, what Rogers did is they actually partnered up with Spotify, the online music streaming service, and so that Spotify would go through the Rogers network and would be delivered as a service in a bundled fashion to their mobile subscribers and their cable subscribers. Now, why would Spotify do that? What was the problem that Rogers was trying to solve? So the problem Rogers was solving is one of giving interesting content to their customers. So Rogers today, as explained by Neeraj Desai, who's one of their product managers for their National Hockey League subscription product in Canada, he said there are 3 areas of focus. So the first is customer experience. They want to improve and make the best customer experience possible. The second is they want to increase the business market share. And the third is that they want to have a very engaged workforce. Now, in order to do that, it is very imperative that they create the best experience possible for their customers, which means that they try to bundle the best services that their customers are likely to use. And streaming music clearly is one such service. So what Rogers did is they actually partnered with Spotify, and Spotify was delivered as a bundled service. Now, what benefits did that give? And what was the benefit that Spotify brought? Well, Spotify brings the benefit that it brings a value-added service to the customers. And the benefit that Rogers gets is that it gets an OTT operator to go through the network as opposed to over the top, which is something I've emphasized a number of little videos that relate to the TC3 event, because that's been a recurrent theme of operators wanting to partner with the OTT guys, and by giving them some value add in their network, either in terms of coverage or network quality or network reach, network bandwidth, in such a way that it is more attractive for the operator or the OTT player to go through the operator's network, partnering with them, rather than treat the network as a dump pipe. Now, what is the benefit for Spotify? Now, if you think about it, here's a scenario that could play out. Let's say that there's congestion in the network, and when that happens, there's feedback given to the Spotify app, which then dynamically adjusts its transmission rate so that the quality to all its users goes down a level, but no user actually feels the impact of that quality hit. And the advantage for that is that users get consistent quality and are happy with the service. The advantage for Rogers is that when there's congestion in the network, they get Spotify, who is now a partner, as opposed to merely somebody who's using their network over the top, to actually tone down the use of bandwidth, thereby getting better utilization and better customer experience for all of Rogers' customers. And as a result, you have improved network performance. So these were some of the motivations for this partnership, and it's evolving right now. We'll see the results as deployments roll out and as the customer feedback starts to come in. Now, the second case study that I wanted to talk about is one of Bouygues Telecom with a company called iFeelSmart, and this was presented by Xavier Bring, CEO of iFeelSmart, and Frederic Gerard, who's the CEO of Innovation, which is Bouygues Telecom's innovation arm. Now, let me give you some quick facts, as always, about Bouygues Telecom. Now, Bouygues Telecom, as many of you may know or may not know, is the third largest wireless provider in France. It has 11.5 million mobile subscribers and 2.5 million broadband subscribers. Revenues are at 4.43 billion euros, or approximately, I guess, something of the order of $6 to $7 billion US. And 30% of their mobile customers are actually already using 4G or LTE services. So pretty good track record there. Now, what was the problem that Bouygues was trying to solve? Now, about 2 years back, Bouygues Telecom, it turns out, began a project called the Miami Project. And the purpose of that project was to develop an open source or Android-based set-top box that would be much more than a mere set-top box. It would integrate and converge a lot of services such as online access, gaming, a television, streaming video, video on demand, all in one box. And the reason this came about was there were two observations that the teams at Bouygues made. One was that they realized that they have two operating principles. One is that the future is television, our television-like services, video on demand, and so on. And the second was that Android-based set-top boxes are significantly cheaper to build and deploy than any other kind of set-top box. And to give you a benchmark, they said that an Android-based set-top box is 40% more cost-effective than other boxes and can have CPUs running 3 times faster. So 3x potentially the performance at 50% or 40% of the cost, which is a pretty good trade-off. So what they did is they worked to create a set-top box called the B-Box Miami. And they worked with this company called iFeelSmart, smooth, very nice user interface that would actually entice their end customer to use that set-top box. So what the startup iFeelSmart provided in this case was that it developed this very fluid user interface which integrates all of the users' various channels. For example, their Gmail, Yahoo Mail, different online properties, television channels, along with their gaming, games that they might be interested in, the ability to record stuff, play it back, and so on and so forth. So all of this was given on side by side with their TV channels in a very fluid, very easy to use format, which is all integrated. And so the value for Bouygues was that they could build a set-top box, put value-added software on top of it, and then roll that out to their customers who were looking for a better experience, who were looking for more value-added services. The advantage to iFeel was that they were able to help Bouygues because of their partnership with Google for the last 3 to 4 years. They were very well versed with sort of the Android operating system, knew all the nuances, knew all of the advances, and made sure that their product was fully compatible with ongoing Android changes. So the advantage to iFeel was that they were able to apply this excellent user interface software to something that is going to see a mass rollout and provide more value to Bouygues customers. So At present, I think what they're looking at is they're looking at Marvell chipsets of the next generation, where they can integrate even greater capacity of gaming into their set-top box, so that, depending on what you want to do with the box, it has actually many, what I would say, personas, or it's a many in one device. It can be used for internet access, of course, that's kind of basic. It can be used as a grain box for Android, as a voice over IP device for integrated voice, of course, to access television channels, to access internet content. And with a wireless mouse and keyboard, it can even convert your entire television set into one huge computer screen that you can use to access freely all of the internet channels that you're so used to on your actual computer. So that becomes, to use a more hackneyed word, a single pane of glass through which the user now, as opposed to the operator, gets access to all of their services and all of their multimedia. So this was an example where the partnership led to a product that is being rolled out right now, and has been for a while. And I think as the results come in, we're going to know more about how this shaped up and how it was received by the users. So if you have had experiences working with operators, if you have other case studies to add to this, please by all means share them with us. And in the meantime, I will come back with part 3. And it's wonderful having you here, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.